Okay, this is section 9.2, and this is linear line of best fit models. So you have two vocab words, so you're going to need to pause this and write down your vocab words. So it talks about clustering when data points are grouped together, and then an outlier, which is a value that's a lot greater or less than the others in the data set. So for number one, we are observing the pattern, and we're going to do the following. So we're going to describe the pattern, identify clustering, and identify outliers. So there's a lot of different answers for this, but we're going to look at a few. So for the first problem, um, they already drew a curve on here. So this is a nonlinear pattern. This is not a straight line, so we can't call this linear. For number two, we are going to look at clustering. So there's already some clustering that's identified. I would say there's a lot more areas of clustering than the one that is marked already. So we'll say there's clustering at 10, looks like clustering at 15, definitely some clustering again at 30 and at 40 minutes. And then for number three, what outliers are there? So there's outliers at 25 comma 15 at that coordinate, and I would say there's even another outlier at 40 comma 90. So those would be your outliers in your pattern to look at. So we're going to do the same thing on number two. Describe the pattern, identify the clustering. So this definitely looks like it could create a straight line. So we're going to call this linear, and this is going in a negative direction. So linear negative correlation is what I would call this. Okay, so then we're going to look for any clustering. There is quite a bit of clustering. I would say there's clustering at 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and 40 minutes. There's a lot of clustering in this scatter plot. And then the last part, identify possible outliers. So it looks like one outlier, and that's at 35 comma, you could say maybe 89 because it's really close to 90. So I would say that is your main outlier in this problem. Number three, okay, so what we're going to do here is we are comparing the given scatter plots of the data and their lines of best fit. Tell which model fits the data better and explain your answer. So really there's no right or wrong answer for this as long as you can explain it. I would say my opinion is that graph A fits the line of best fit better because the points are closer to the line. So the points in graph A are closer to the line. So I would say that graph A has a line of best fit that is more accurate. And that's my opinion. You could argue a different opinion. We're going to do the same thing in number four. I would also argue again in number four that graph A has a better line of best fit because it's more in the middle of the data. So I would argue the same thing again. Graph A has a more accurate line of best fit. I would say that it's in the middle of the data set and definitely more accurate.